Hello YouTube! Today on The Naughty Librarian, I'm bringing you a big old fantasy book haul. So I have been receiving a lot of books from the publisher lately, like a lot, and almost all of them are from Tor Books. So I have so many new fantasy books to read, and then I have a pre-order in here, I have some I've ordered myself, so I have like a good mix here, but they're all fantasy related, so those of you who like my fantasy content, all of these are gonna be fantasy books. Let's start off with the books I actually bought first. So first things first, I have The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, and this was a pre-order. I love John Scalzi books. He writes like irreverent sci-fi. So if you're really into authors like Ernest Cline or Andy Weir, I think you're gonna really get into this author if you haven't read anything by them before. But yes, this is the newest book, and it's actually much shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a bit heftier, but oh well. So this book does take place during the COVID-19 pandemic in particular. It does mention it by name. We're following Gray, and he's kind of stuck in a dead-end job as like a delivery food driver. And he runs into one of his old friends. I think he's delivering food. And his friend works at a animal conservation society. And he's like, hey, you know, we need someone for this next op, do you want to join in? And he's like, yeah, I'll do anything. So he kind of gets roped into this animal rights activism company that actually works with kaijus. So essentially they're interdimensional monsters who live on an alternate reality Earth where there's no people, it's just them. I think there are enormous panda bears there as well, so it's just getting weird, but I like it. It's like funny, weird sci-fi stuff, and he has to deal with these kaijus, and like some of them might be crossing dimensions and is causing problems, so love that. I'm very excited to read this one. I think it's gonna be incredible as John Scalzi, so I'm fully expecting to love this. I also picked up Crush the King by Jennifer Estep, and this is the big finale for the Crown of Shards series. I have read books 1 and 2, and you know what? I enjoyed them. They gave me all of like my fantasy romance cravings like completed. So I was like, okay, let's finish this off. Let's see what's gonna happen. So you know, we're following Evie. She and her ragtag group of misfit friends, and they have to, you know, save the kingdom from the evil Morton King, and he keeps trying to get her killed. There's a lot of assassination attempts against Evie. She's having a rough time. So, you know, she has to dodge assassination attempts and also try to, like, take down this other king who's evil. So, I'm excited. I want to see how things play out. I'm already 2 books in. I might as well finish it off the series, you know? Now, I have a big stack of books here, and these are all sent to me by the publisher. I've got a whole bunch to go through. I have A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows, and I'm so happy they sent me a copy of this. It looks so good. So this is a queer fantasy love story, and it's also a bit political, and I'm very into that. So we're following this prince. His name is Velison, and he's betrothed to this princess from a fellow kingdom. And like something happens, there's like a public argument or something, and it kind of comes out that he prefers men, and he's like, oh shit, I just ruined this political marriage I was supposed to be in. But the other country's like, oh no, it's cool, marry her brother instead, we're all good. So like, hey, that worked out. So now the brother, Cathari, is engaged to Velison, and they have to kind of make the best of this situation because there's like people willing to kill to stop this from happening, and you know, so they have to have peril, they're fighting for their life, and I think along the way they will fall in love for real. And I just love stories like that in general, and I think it's gonna be so cool. I love the cover, it's very pretty. Thank you so much for sending this to me. I'm very excited for it. Guess what? I have another political fantasy queer romance. It is the season. I have A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland, and oh my gosh, have you guys seen this cover? Oh, it looks so good, and it's fully Byzantine inspired, so I'm like so into that. We're following Kaiju. He is like, you know, shy artist prince, and something happens, and basically he gets like his ass handed to him emotionally, I think. And in order to like prove himself to the queen, who happens to be his sister, he has to investigate this like robbery that happened. And he gets paired up with Evemer, who is like a bodyguard. And you know, I'm assuming they fall in love for real. I'm really into that. However, like the magic system in this world, I don't really know how it works yet, because obviously I haven't read this yet, but basically I think the royal family has the ability to like figure out metals by touching them. Like you can tell if something's counterfeit or not, and like counterfeit things are treason in this country. So I don't really know how the magic system works, but I know there's political intrigue, there's metals, there's queer romance, fantasy magic. I am obsessed. I think it's gonna be really, really good, and I love this cover. It is gorgeous. Also sent to me by the publisher, I have Worlds of Exile and Illusion by Ursula K. Le Guin. And really, I just got this because I saw Ursula K. Le Guin, who's like OG sci-fi fantasy like legend. So I was like, yes, I want something by Ursula Le Guin. And this is actually a mashup of 3 novels. So it has Racannon's World, Planet of Exile, and City of Illusions. So 3 different, like, I'm assuming novella length, because this isn't very thick, books all mash up into one book. And the blurb on the back doesn't really tell me anything about what this is about. I just like Ursula K. Le Guin. It's an author want to read book. But basically it says that these follow travelers of many worlds and civilizations in the depths of space. So definitely sci-fi. And it's Ursula K. Le Guin. I just wanted it for the author. There you go. I wanted it. And I actually haven't read anything by Ursula K. Le Guin. I know I'm also ashamed of myself. So I have this one and I can finally read something. I'm very excited about it. So speaking of OG fantasy writing legends, I have Aspects by John M. Ford. And it's gonna have like a new introduction by Neil Gaiman. So I was like, okay, Neil Gaiman, because basically John Ford might not be as known of an author, but like has been the main influence for a lot of other authors that are very well known, like Robert Jordan and Neil Gaiman. So I was like, okay, like let's see what they like, because obviously they're doing something right. And the blurb is very, very vague. It doesn't say a whole lot about it. So it just says John M. Ford wrote a novel of fantasy and magic unlike any other. Politics and abdicated kings, swords and sorceress, machine guns, divination, and ancient empires. So already love that. Sorceress machine guns? Yeah, so like it's gonna have maybe some sci-fi elements, it's gonna have some magic elements. I am way into it. Again, kind of an OG legend. Want to see what the writing's like. Last up, I have The First Binding by R.R. Verdi. And like one quick thing before we talk what this is about, just for aesthetics, because I know a lot of people also like this, but like, oh my gosh, look at the flop. This is a floppy ass paperback and I love it. Much flop, so much flop, 10 out of 10 flop. This one looks really, 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 really cool. It's kind of giving me Name of the Wind vibes, honestly. And if that's like a buzzword for you, put this on your radar because I feel like it has a similar vibe. And the bag is really, really short, so I'll just read it to you and tell me it's not kind of Name of the Wind. It's very similar, so ahem. Judge me for what you will, but you will hear my story first. I buried the village of Ampur under a mountain of ice and snow. Then I killed their god. I've stolen old magics and been cursed for it. I started a war with those who walked before mankind and lost the princess I loved and wanted to save. I've called lightning and bound fire. I am legend and I am a monster. My name is Ari, and this is the story of how I let loose the first evil. It's like a story about this person's story. Very Name of the Wind. I am so excited for this one. I love it. Like, tell me no more. I already love that like opening bit of the book, and it's on the back of the blurb. So good. Am I right? Yes, I am. Oh wait, actually I have one more book. That wasn't the last one. However, this book is like my one outlier because it's not fantasy, but I do have one romance to go over here, and that is Going Public by Hudson Lin. This was sent to me by the publisher, and oh boy, very excited for it. I think it's gonna be really good. So this is like a workplace romance, boss assistant romance, so I don't know how they're gonna handle like the power inequality here, but we'll see. And we're following Raymond. He's like hotshot mergers, acquisitions, finance bro, I guess. I don't really know how his job works. And then you have Elvin, who is assistant, has been assistant for years, kind of low-key in love with him, like a big crush that's going nowhere. However, there's like this big new project and they've been working a lot of long nights and maybe whispering some things to each other, and maybe things are getting spicy. I don't know. I'm really into it and I'm just very excited. So thank you so much for Harlequin to send me this. I am super pumped about it. I hope like the power imbalance is dealt with well, because sometimes it could be sketchy, but I think it's gonna turn out good. All right, so that was just a whole bunch of books I have picked up lately / were sent to me. So I figured I might as well just do them all in one video. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know, what's a book that hasn't come out yet that you're super pumped for? Is it one of the ones I mentioned today? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to see more exclusive content, you can become a patron. The link is in the description down below. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!